Keep telling you, progressives can take over the Democratic Party state by state, and it turns out they're doing it in Michigan. Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. David Sirota, he's got this newsletter called The Daily Poster that you can subscribe to. I get it. I subscribe to it. David's been on this program many times. His current issue, the one that came out, I believe it was today, it might have been yesterday, is a headline, Progressives Aim to Take Over Michigan's Democratic Party. And this is what I have been telling you about for the 18 years I've been doing this show. But in particular, since 2009, when I saw Republicans doing this. When the Tea Party and Freedom Works and some of these groups, this Concord, whatever it is, coalition group, reached out to Republican voters and said, we, the crazy right here in the Republican Party, need to take over the institutional Republican Party. The Tea Party Republicans need to take over the Republican Party from the Mitt Romney Republicans or the Bob Dole Republicans, the business, the pro-business Republicans. They need to be pushed out, and the pro-fascism Republicans need to take over. And they did. And the Republican Party, this led a straight line from that to Donald Trump and to all the craziness we've been seeing. And what I've been saying is, we need to take a lesson from that. The so-called far left of the Democratic Party, those Democrats who support Medicare for all, who support ending student debt and having free tuition at state universities and junior colleges, and who support a Green New Deal, rebuilding America's infrastructure in a way that is not adding to our carbon load. Those policies, and I wrote a piece about this morning over on Medium.com, those policies, complete with the links, those policies are supported by more than half of Republicans. But there is this BS notion called bipartisanship. I was watching TV this morning. I was watching CNN this morning, and Poppy Harlow had on Pat Leahy. And Poppy is really, really smart person. She's really bright, and she's really good. And I find her program, her and Jim Sciutto, they do a pretty good job for what they're doing, right? But this morning she had Pat Leahy on, and as a Democrat, a senator. He's the Democratic senator from Vermont, the senior senator. He's been the senator longer than Bernie has been. And in fact, he's in his 80s. And she said to him words to the effect of, this isn't necessarily a verbatim quote, but it's as close as I can remember. She said, don't you think that by trying to move ahead with this $1.9 trillion COVID package and the other legislation that you're proposing without Republican votes, that you're making worse the partisan divisions in America, that you're tearing America apart? And Leahy's response was, well, we hope to get some Republicans on board. My response, if she had asked me, would have been, these are already bipartisan positions. Come on, Poppy. Just because Republican politicians who are owned by billionaires and the corporations that made them rich don't want to go along with these things doesn't mean that Republican voters don't want to. We're going to start ignoring the Republican politicians, and we're going to start paying attention to the Republican voters, because the Republican voters are with us, with progressives, on these issues. Literally all three issues that I just named. You've got majority Democratic support. The links are in my article. But back to my point of where I started with this thing with David Sirota, I've been talking about taking over the Democratic Party. Well, they're doing it in Michigan. The headline of his piece today, Progressives Aim to Take Over Michigan's Democratic Party. He's quoting from a guy named Liano Sharon. I'm assuming it's a guy. Yeah, he uses the word his. Liano Sharon, he joined the Democratic Party in Michigan in 2016, just 5 years ago. He's got a website, michiganprogressive.com. And the old line corporate Democratic establishment in Michigan was just going out of their way to block progressives in Michigan from getting anything done. And so he and about 20 other people got together, and basically they've taken over the Democratic Party in Michigan. There's an election tomorrow. on Saturday. It's an election within the party for party leadership and party rules and things like this. And he's got 123 people running for positions within the Democratic Party. And this is pretty amazing. He just lays the whole thing out about how there's multiple units. There's 82 counties, 14 congressional districts, multiple statewide caucuses and clubs. It's a total of about 10,000 people who actually participate with the Democratic Party in Michigan. It's not that many. It's not that hard for organized progressives to take over the Democratic Party in a state, and they are doing it in Michigan. Now, they may not succeed in the vote tomorrow, but I guarantee you that they will a year from tomorrow or 2 years from tomorrow, because they are moving in that direction. They've got the wind behind their back. This is happening. And they've already got the state party platform to endorse single-payer health care, even though Gretchen Whitmer, the Democratic governor of the state, is opposed to it. Which is pretty amazing when you think about it, right? So you can do this too. Whatever state you're in, show up with your local Democratic Party. The meetings are now by Zoom, but show up and participate. You can take it over.